Hello, everyone. Welcome back to
Did You? The officially unofficial search party for the idiot actor that screamed at Rebecca Ferguson. We're looking for you.
Yes. We're your hosts,
Emmanuel Diaz
and Victor Carlos, just your average gay husbands dissecting trending shows and this week's news.
In today's episode, we're going over the last 4 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Netflix original. And then we're going to talk about the latest news, both in the political and pop culture worlds.
We discuss the Michigan primaries and what we think it might mean for Biden in the general election. We also talk about Mitch McConnell stepping down as Senate leader and Republicans blocking a bill that would protect access to IVF treatments.
After, we talk about the latest entertainment news, such as Bobby's replacement on Queer Eye, Nick Offerman's speech to all the haters, and we go through all the clues to figure out our mysterious idiot actor that screamed at Rebecca Ferguson. Stay tuned and find out with us.
Who was it? Let's get started.
So, we're going to talk about the last 4 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes, did you watch it?
Did you watch it? Because we did, and we thought it was amazing.
Oh my God. Let's just...
Episodes 5 through 8. Let's get to it.
Wow.
Okay, so what were your initial thoughts?
As a whole, just really whimsical. Just you really can just like kind of lay back and just enjoy the ride.
I really enjoyed it. Really, it was the best half of the season.
Oh, of course.
I felt like they had more of a direction this time around.
Mm-hmm. And like the way I felt, I was so emotional when the first episode came out. I felt that way like through every episode of the later half of the series.
Yeah.
And it was, oh my God, it was anything and everything you could ask for.
I mean, yeah, they gave you everything and more.
Right.
Everything and more. You can also tell that the actors felt a little bit more comfortable in their roles.
Yes, for sure.
No, but honestly, they did pretty good. But Zuko, Ira, and Azula, they're carrying the show right now. Like, I love them. Yeah. They're amazing. I love the actors portraying
Isn't that
them.
So funny?
It's so good. I mean, the Fire Nation.
We find them very
they're killing
charismatic. It. All right, so episode 5 is Spirited Away, directed by Roseanne Liang and written by Gabriel Yanaz. So
we start off with a chase scene in the forest. We get some boomerang action. We get Katara learning a new move, her ice discs.
Yes, and that she learned from the Earthbenders. It was like an earthbending technique that she adapted to her waterbending.
Which, is a sign of a master, as Aang likes to mention. They get saved by Appa when they jump off a cliff. Yeah. Really, really cool scene. It just, reminds you of the animated show. It's
just a great way to start off,
Yeah, no, really good.
And then as they're flying away on Appa, they kind of are caught off guard and in disbelief because they see part of the forest has just been burnt down.
Yeah.
And it's like recent.
Yeah. And then after that, we get the fire title sequence, which looked pretty cool.
It did look really cool, yeah.
So once they're on the ground, they're walking around and they realize it's the Fire Nation. They find some like emblems or whatever indicating that it was the Fire Nation. And Aang is just, disappointed. He wished he could do more. And then Katara and Momo, they discover an acorn.
Yeah. It was so cute. Katara just reminds Aang that the forest is going to grow back.
Yeah.
And to focus in your present moment, focus on the seeds of the future rather than the regrets of the past or something like that. And I just thought that was very wise.
And I wrote down, out of death comes new life.
Oh, of course.
From what she said.
Yeah.
And then we see Sokka encountering a little girl. They find a small village. The little girl's father explains why the forest is burnt. The Fire Nation just wanted to get through.
Yeah, there was literally no reason for it.
Yeah. And because of this, weird things have been going on in the village. Some villagers have been disappearing.
Crops have been dying.
Yeah, the land is sick.
His son and a couple other villagers went out into the forest. I forgot what to do exactly. I
think just to find food because everything was just dying.
And they never came back.
Yeah. And then after that, we're at Zuko's ship. We get, the typical Zuko being mean to his crew members because they find a little clue as to like where the Avatar might be. And
like there's signs of like somebody playing with ice in a place where ice doesn't exist. So it's like that's obviously something that's out of place.
No, but honestly, I love the actor that's portraying Zuko.
He's fantastic throughout the whole series.
Yeah,
honestly.
he portrays the angst of a teenager and wanting to like just redeem himself.
Yeah,
but no, really, really good.
His soldier feels, pretty jaded.
Yeah.
And it kind of just sets up the episode for that kind of storyline.
Right. And then we cut to Azula. Yeah,
and
love
Ozai.
it.
Azula's whispering in Ozai's ears as he's planning.
Yeah. She's talking about Zhao, like, oh my God, look, he found the Avatar. Let's give him more resources.
Exactly.
Let's do this. Let's do that. And Ozai agrees.
He does.
He agrees. He's like, sure, let's do it.
But then he reminds her.
Yeah, as she's walking away, he's like,
he reminds her that Zuko is the one that found the Avatar.
Yeah.
And that Zuko displayed resilience and dedication over self-serving flattery and coy whispers.
Yeah, but then as she's walking,
such
a dig. Away, he has like a little smirk. So he's just,
but he caught her off guard. She was like, "Damn."
Yeah.
And but he knows he's so sly. He's so
Yeah, no, he's just trying to get under her skin. Then we cut back to the gang. Aang talks about the spirit world. Says he can feel the veil being really thin because of the fire being burned through the forest.
Yeah, they stumble upon the shrine in the forest.
The spirit of what? The spirit of the forest.
The spirit of the forest. They find his shrine, their shrine, and then Aang just Aang begins meditating.
Yes. Wow. You got it out.
It took me a while, but
yeah, but the whole day passes by, and then it's nighttime, and then he finally enters the spirit world.
Yeah,
but he's not alone.
No, he brought Katara and Sokka with him, unfortunately. But
yeah, I don't know how, but I mean, it's a twist that they wanted to show us.
I have a feeling like because they were up like just doing whatever, and then like the moment they finally fell asleep was the moment probably that it just.
Well, no, I think they just knocked out. Like, they just got knocked out. Not that they fell asleep, but they just got knocked out.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So they enter the spirit world. They're, like, kind of thrown into it.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea to do this. But, I mean, I don't mind it. I like it.
Right.
Then after we get Zuko and Zuko and Iroh entering a small village. They're trying to find the Avatar, obviously. And they talk to a bartender who is, like, not forthcoming of some information at first, and then he's like, oh yeah, but I've seen some waterbenders with the Avatar, and it's like, yeah, hello. And then we get little references of the Avatar's adventures, such as the pirates,
the canyon crawlers,
the volcano, so like the fortune teller episode. So it's really cute. It's really cute to get like, we may not see it, and I wish we obviously did, but it happened. It's there.
Yeah, and then Zuko and Iroh stumble upon a bounty hunter named June,
a mercenary
named June, and she's a bad bitch, and her pet is even badder. Yeah, because like it's like this giant like star-nosed mole. Yeah, but it can
in the shape of a dire wolf.
Yeah,
it's huge,
and it just senses.
She rides it everywhere.
It senses through smell, and that's how she
finds
like people.
And by I mean everywhere, she rides that thing everywhere. I don't even know how she got to certain places with this with this creature, but we'll get to that. And then we cut back to the spirit world. Aang gives a rundown that their body is still being connected to their physical body. Like, even though they're in the spirit world, their spirit is still, like, whatever happens to them in the spirit world affects them in the physical world. Something like that, basically.
And then they run into the spirit of knowledge.
Wan Xing Tong.
Yeah, this giant birdie-ass motherfucker.
Which we don't get until book 2 of the original show. Right. So really exciting. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I don't mind it because it may be a signal that we may get the library scene.
For sure. And he speaks to Aang specifically because Sokka and Katara cannot understand him.
Yeah, it's
Their
just an Avatar thing.
Small.
Yeah.
That's what he says. And he just kind of tells her that, tells Aang that they're in danger because they're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, they're not capable of, like, their souls are not capable of being in the spirit world.
And there are spirits that will do worse than devour their bodies.
Vengeful spirits.
So he also mentions that the spirit world will like deliver truths to the humans that they can't necessarily comprehend or take.
Right.
So that's alluding to future events.
Mm-hmm. And then we cut to Azula in a fight.
Yes.
We got a little sparkle of blue fire. I'm excited for that.
Right. But she kept fighting him.
Yeah, no, she's blinded by rage. Yeah.
And Mai had to step in and stop her.
Yeah. She just feels like she's not good enough,
Yeah,
but she just wants to keep going at it.
Yeah,
going at it.
May and Tylee though, they let her know like, hey, you're perfect, and like he's just fucking with you basically.
Yeah. And then we cut back to Zuko and Iroh, and Iroh, he goes off like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, oh, we're hiring June.
Yes.
Zuko is opposed about it at first, but he's like, whatever, just find
agrees,
him. Just find him.
We cut back to the spirit world, and Sokka just sees like these footprints
chasing him,
starting to chase him, and it just adds to like that kind of like whimsy and like
and like Aang isn't forthcoming with his information. You know, he's not telling them, hey, you're kind of going to start hallucinating.
Yeah. And they run into the main character of this episode.
Yeah, well, hey, bye.
He should have been.
Yeah.
We just get little glimpses
we just get
him.
a little bit of him. Like they run around a little bit and then he just disappears.
Yeah.
He's always stuck in rage mode. We never get to see his panda form, his relaxed form.
We'll probably see him later, just like relaxed. So it attacks Aang and the gang.
Yeah, and it makes them split up at the end.
And then Aang and Katara realize they can't bend.
Right, yeah, they can't bend.
Which I'm like, it took you this long to like think about bending?
I guess. But then they go into the fog. Sokka sees a fox with 3 tails. They're having a conversation. He's decombobulated. And you know that the fox loves it. She giggles.
She's like, I hope you can recombobulate.
Right, yeah. And then she warns him about the fog. And then as she's walking away, we notice something's on her tail. We don't know what that is.
Right, it's some kind of jewelry.
Right.
Like some kind of band.
Then we get Katara, and she sees a little girl. Very scary scene. Little girl running in the forest.
Oh my God, I hated it. Ugh.
And then she's just transported into a vision. She's back at the Southern Water Tribe. She sees her mom.
It's a beautiful day.
Beautiful day. She's with her mom and her grandma. And then she realizes what day it is. It's the day.
Well, no, she slowly does. So she realizes at first, Sokka's not here.
Right. Because he's with his father out fishing.
Yeah.
And
then she realizes she can't bend later on. And then she realizes.
Well, in that same moment.
Yeah. And the Fire Nation attacks. We get to see what happened in the past, how she lost her mother.
Yeah, really brutal.
Oh my God.
Really
it's
brutal.
Really rough.
Yeah.
Like, it's not graphic. It's just brutal.
Yeah. And then we see Ko.
Oh my God.
He takes Katara.
Scary looking motherfucker.
So scary.
Clown ass bitch.
Wow. Really, really good. Really good. And then we go back to Sokka, and he gets transported into his own vision. He's also back at the Southern Water Tribe, and it's the day that he completed his ice dodging trials.
Yeah.
And then he passed, or so it seems.
He passes,
yes,
and everybody's excited, and they like put the ash on his forehead.
Dad is proud of him,
right? And then things quickly end, and
he walks out. His peers are making fun of him, like,
they have like
I don't want to be there with you. Yeah, it's like broken. And then he hears his father and Bato talking about like, if it wasn't for you, Bato, they would have died. Yeah.
All would have been died.
Yeah, all would have been died.
That's right. And then Sokka just falls into kind of like this like mood, and then somebody walks up.
Yeah, we see
Ko
again,
and it's Ko. Yeah, Ko. If we haven't explained already in this episode, is a primal
we'll
spirit.
Get there when Aang interacts with him.
That's true. I guess you're right.
And then we cut to Aang. He sees his home, and he's like, "Oh, nostalgic." But then immediately he's like, "No, well, I know it's fake." So he walks away, and then Ko appears, and he's like, "Who is strong enough to dodge my temptations?" And then he realizes he's talking to the Avatar.
Yeah, and so Ko has a history with the Avatar.
Yeah, Ko looks amazing.
Yeah. Oh, he does.
He looks amazing. Yeah, but he's the face stealer. Ko is the face stealer. He will take your face away. Yeah.
Can't show him emotion.
Aang runs away.
Into a little like pocket dimension or whatever.
And it's like really bright and beautiful, vibrant, and he steps into this house, and it's Gyatso. Gyatso is in there.
He's been there this whole
time. And like Aang is hesitant at first, but he thinks Gyatso proves that it's him, and it's real. It's real, I guess.
Yeah.
And they have a really good conversation, just them together reminiscing and just being in each other's presence.
Yeah. Gyatso speaks of Ko and how he is a primal spirit.
Yeah, like a vengeful spirit. And how every avatar has had their entanglement with Ko in some way. Yeah. For example, like Avatar Karuk, Gyatso explains how he took the face of his lover, right? Which we get more of that in later episodes too.
Yeah, And so then Aang realizes that his friends, Asaka and Katara, are still, in danger. So then he goes to leave. But before he does, Gyatso stops him and makes sure he knows, like, it wasn't his fault that, like, everybody died that night. Yeah. And that, like, if he was there, he would have died. There wouldn't have been anything he could do. Yeah. So, like, just to not, like, blame himself for that. And then Aang says, like, he'll come right back, like, and they'll be able to, like, talk some more. And Gyatso just starts tearing up and crying. And you realize, like, he's holding back something. Yeah. And he just, agrees. And then Aang leaves. Mm-hmm. And
Aang leaves to go to the fire temple to go talk to Roku. Right. So we get, instead of a winter solstice episode, he just can interact with him whenever he wants. He just has to be at the shrine and he can activate the avatar state. So he just wants to go to Roku to figure out what was it that he took from Ko. Right. And he wants to find that item to make an exchange for his friends and the villagers. So, and this is basically also that episode where Sokka and Katara get sick. Instead of getting sick, they're trapped in the spirit world. And we're trying to find some item. Yeah. And then the last scene that we get is Zhao getting promoted to Admiral.
Oh my god, I fucking hate it. Yeah. We also see Azula just practicing into the night.
Oh, yeah. A little montage.
And Zuko feeling really out of place with his crew. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the end of episode 5.
And then we're going to jump into episode 6, Masks.
Directed also by Rosianne Liang and written by... Oh, look at this. The teleplay is by Emily Kim and Hunter Rise and Brian Konietzko. The story is by Uba Muhammad and Brian Konietzko. Oh, and Michael Dante DiMartino.
Wow, the originals.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very important episode.
Very important episode because we start with a flashback and it's Zuko pre-burnt face.
Yeah, he's getting ready for his first war council meeting.
Yeah.
His shit. We cut back to the present day. The ship's changing course. Against Zuko's demands.
Yeah, and then Zhao walks in and says, "Well, I'm in charge now. Right. Like, this is my fleet now. Crazy. Sorry." And they gave me all of the responsibility of finding the Avatar. So whatever I say goes.
Right. Oh.
And then Zuko tries to convince his crew member to listen to him, but they don't listen to him. So he just storms out. Love this teenager, like, just be, I don't know. I know. I just love Zuko.
But then
I just love Zuko.
When the lieutenant, he lashes out towards Iroh about
Lieutenant
Zuko.
G.
Yeah. And Iroh's just like,
you don't know what he's been through.
Exactly. Okay? Literally, yeah. And alluding to the future.
Right. And then we cut to Aang arriving at the fire temple. Even though we get a little corner of the fire temple, it's so beautiful.
Gorgeous.
So beautiful.
Oh my God.
Just going to that island.
Breathtaking.
Yeah. The best work, and we only see a corner of it. He walks in, he sees the door to go into the shrine, and then
he encounters the fire sages, and he asks for help, He's like, just like on Kyoshi Island, can you guys help me?
Right. But they attack him.
Yeah, they respond pretty hostily.
But there's one that does help him, and they go inside.
Like a secret passageway that takes them straight to the shrine.
And then we cut to June, and she catches Aang's scent. So she's on her way to find Aang, which, again... How is she just traveling so quickly to all these places?
I don't fucking know how this fucking animal can, like, swim.
I don't know.
Because, like, how does she get to that island?
I don't know. So back to Aang. The helpful sage tells Aang about Roku and the relics in the room and just a little bit of history. Yeah. And then the sage tells Aang that, hey, I'll go hold them off while you enter and talk to Roku.
And then that sage finds the other sages, and they basically, like, start battling, but it cuts away. And it goes back to Aang, and he's speaking to Avatar Roku. And Avatar Roku is pulling...
He's a fool.
He's pulling the fuck out of his leg, yeah. He's just, like, being so just...
He's joking around. He's just being an idiot.
Yeah. He explains that all the avatars are different, but they come from the same spark. So it's like, we're not all carbon copies of each other. We just all share, like, this common kind of... Like, this is us.
Yeah, and in the sense of, like, we have a big responsibility of being the Avatar. Like, one thing he does agree with Kyoshi is that they must be tough and that technically friends are a liability.
Yeah, but he also adds, being on top of a warrior, you also have to be a skilled diplomat.
Yeah.
And so, like, these different avatars had different routes of, like, how they kind of found peace in their times,
Right, yeah. And then we discover that Roku was the one that took something from Ko. It was a little totem
Right.
Yeah, it's the mother of faces.
Apparently it's Ko's mom, or like a totem to Ko's mom.
Yeah, and like just a little backstory about her that we get from the Netflix show is that she created faces for everyone and people's identity. So she created identity for the world. So that's like pretty interesting.
Like, yeah.
Aang is back in the temple. He exits the Avatar state. He sees the totem and with all the other relics, he takes it. Then he steps out and he sees that all the sages are knocked out, and he's like, "Oh my god, they're paralyzed!" And then who sneaks behind? Right behind from behind him.
Sneaks up from behind.
Sneaks up from behind. That's what I said. It's June.
It's June. She found her way onto this island.
Yeah,
and she found the Avatar.
And then her creature strikes Aang, and Aang falls down and he's paralyzed.
Next scene, we wake up in a cave and he's just there with June, and then Zuko arrives. June flirts with Iroh when she gets her coin, which she did like earlier in the episode too. She's just like really flirty with Iroh, just thinks he's a cute little dad.
Yeah.
Zuko and Iroh take Aang, and then we cut back to Zuko at his first War Council meeting. That goes how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, and like they ask, his father does ask Zuko, like, what would he do? He gives an explanation, blah, blah, blah. And then Zuko realizes that they're sending soldiers to their death. Zuko speaks out, calls the general basically stupid and calls the whole plan stupid. And then Ozai goes, well, what if we do an Agni Kai? Yeah, and then, obviously Zuko is thinking it's between Zuko and the general.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to the present, and Zhao appears with an army of fire soldiers.
And they take Aang.
We see the skilled archers, the Yuyan archers.
I believe so.
Yeah, and then
they say that Zhao says that he's going to take Aang to Pohai, the stronghold that's apparently impenetrable.
Yeah, and Zuko obviously wants to go, but Iroh warns him against it, saying, if you go into Fire Nation territory, that's against your banishment.
Mm-hmm. We cut to Aang being chained up in Pohai.
Yeah, Zhao is boasting. Is just
he's getting like his transcript like
his
written
ego
out.
is inflated.
And then Aang like trips him up with a little airbending. It's pretty funny. Yeah, Zhao's a fool. He's a big old fool, and he just like stumbled into power.
I mean, he has that speech with the with his soldiers, and he's like, "We did so great. We're gonna keep doing great, but tonight." We party.
No,
let's party.
Oh, we just captured the Avatar.
The Avatar. We're safe. Right. Let's take a break tonight.
Like, no. Get the shit done.
And then we see the Blue Spirit. My favorite episode of season 1 of the original show. So really awesome that we get to see it in live action. He sneaks in
through a wagon. He was like under it, and then he kind of works his way up into it.
Right.
Just evading like the guards as they're checking it. And then once he's inside, he goes into a manhole.
Yeah.
And he starts sneaking through passages within.
Starts knocking out Fire Nation soldiers.
There's a point where he's hanging from the ceiling, and he just kind of drops down on him.
Yeah. He frees Aang. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, every this whole scene is just like the original show. We get everything.
Great.
We
Even
get
the
everything.
mask is like it. Essentially identical.
It's bulky. It's
so it's almost silly, but it's really good.
But I don't mind it. I don't mind it. But we get the bamboo ladder propelling.
I love that
from each other from one wall to the next. They don't make it, and then obviously the Blue Spirit threatens to kill the Avatar.
Yeah, and
so they can set them free.
Zhao commands them to open the gate.
Yeah,
the Blue Spirit leaves with Aang,
and then gets knocked out
behind one of the archers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Aang
just makes like a big dust bowl.
Right, and, realizes it's Zuko, and at first he wants to leave him, and then he saves him. Yeah, and then we cut to Zuko and Aang are hiding. Fire Nations are around them, looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the conversation at first is not great, and then it gets good. It gets a little good,
mm-hmm.
and then Aang just had to use the word compassion for some reason.
Yeah,
Zuko just
that's a trigger for
out.
Zuko.
Freaks out, and then he attacks Aang, but then Aang knocks him out accidentally.
Right,
and then we get a flashback
to the Agni Kai where Zuko is fighting Ozai.
Yeah, and at first he's like, obviously doesn't want to, but then
Ozai explains, like, you basically insulted me. And they start fighting.
And Zuko gets the upper hand at first.
And he holds the punch. And Ozai is so disappointed.
Yeah.
And he tells him that compassion is a sign of weakness.
There's that word.
and then he scars
he burns
Zuko's
him.
eye.
Because the only way you can win Agni Kai is if you burn. You just have to be the first one to burn the other person, and that's how the Agni Kai ended.
Yeah, and
Ozai burned him when Zuko could have burned. We get this later in the episode, but both his kids are way more powerful than Ozai.
Oh, for sure.
And at this point, Zuko is not even the best yet. You know what I mean?
No.
And then I don't know.
Like in the present, he's so much better.
He's
yeah.
so much better. Yeah. And then he gets better. So I can't wait for
and
that.
like the teaching style Ozai has for like the parenting style, he's just like nothing is ever going to be good enough, and that's how I'm just going to push you.
Yeah.
And it's like.
Yeah.
Like they each learn that a different way at a different point in their lives, and
it's fun. And then we cut back to the ship, and Iroh is worried about Zuko. Like he's where is he? He should be here soon.
Lieutenant
blah,
G
blah, blah.
is trying to like tell him, go rest.
Right. And then G says something else, like kind of insulting Zuko, I guess, again, because then Iroh tells the crew the story.
Listen, bitch.
Yeah, he's like, all right, let me tell you something.
What Zuko did for you.
Right. So we get a flashback again, and Zuko is on his bed recovering from the Agni Kai.
Iroh's with him, and then Ozai walks in.
Yeah.
And he wants to speak to Zuko, and he
gives him another chance of like, let me see your evil side, and Zuko does not.
This plot line, like throughout the episode, is just so painful to watch because it's just like in the eyes of Ozai, it's just mistake after mistake after mistake, even though it's like not the case. But he's just
Zuko is just he's not his father. He is his mother, and we that's when we first hear the mention of his mother. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they even explained what happened to his mom yet, but
no, they haven't.
Hopefully,
but they've mentioned her.
Yeah. So Ozai banishes Zuko and gives him what?
He enters the room and he explains that holding back was like not respect but a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
And he pleads to Zuko to give up that kind of weakness. And
Zuko doesn't want to.
Zuko says that sometimes the weak can become stronger and to give them a chance. And that just like Ozai's just done at that point.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Then he banishes him.
Yeah.
And he doubles down. Zuko doubles down on compassion. Sorry, it's so I just can't believe it.
So then Ozai banishes him. He says he can't return into the Fire Nation until he's found the Avatar.
Yeah,
and you know what? Go ahead and take. So the whole point that like Zuko spoke out was because they were going to try to sacrifice
a fleet of new soldiers, newly
freshmen.
recruited
They were going to just throw them
yeah.
into the direct line of fire and kill them. And he spoke out, and that's why this all started happening.
So now Ozai said, "Okay, you did save this fleet, but now this fleet is yours.
Yeah, go ahead and take them with you." So literally, his whole crew this whole time that's been with him when he's been looking for the Avatar has been that battalion.
And then we cut back to the present, and it's Zuko arrives at the ship, and the whole crew now understands why Zuko is the way he is and what he has done.
Yeah,
powerful scene.
Yeah,
powerful scene. I like it.
I really did enjoy it.
Then we cut to Aang, and he trades the totem for his friends and the missing villager, and the villagers, and Ko accepts.
Yeah, that was kind of like a little montage moment.
Yeah,
and like I was fine with it, but I wish we got to see it like a little further extended and like kind of brought to fruition instead of just being like scene, done.
Right. Aang goes back to where Gyatso was, but obviously, as we expected, he wasn't there.
Right.
And then
it's just so sad because he's just like, fuck, man, that's the last time I'm ever seeing Gyatso.
We'll see. You never know.
Yeah.
And then we come back to Iroh, and Iroh sees the blue spirit mask.
Yeah, as Zuko's just kind of resting in bed.
Mm-hmm. And now we're on episode 7, The North.
The North, directed by Jet Wilkinson and written by Audrey Wong Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we open in on G running into warn about the Imperial Guards approaching the ship.
Yeah, he warns to Zuko that Ozai found out that that he's basically getting arrested for something that he did, and it's treason.
Right.
So we expect. So obviously we're like, oh my god, is it because they know that he's the Blue Spirit?
Right.
G finds out because the night before
he was playing like some kind of poker game,
and
with
they were all
other
getting drunk.
Soldiers.
Yeah. Iroh helps him escape. Then we cut to Zhao. And it's all the trap.
Classic Fire Nation, like
just
kind of
fake news, misleading information.
Yeah. To kind of influence your enemies.
Yeah. So
actions.
Zuko escapes in a small little boat, and as he's lighting the light,
He
with
realizes
fire, the boat is
ship
filled with
blasting jelly.
jelly blasters, blasting jelly.
Blasting jelly. And the ship blows up,
the boat
and
explodes.
Iroh and everyone is convinced that Zuko has died.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the title sequence.
And it's water.
And it's beautiful.
It's really cute.
I love
really
it.
cute. Yeah.
The Aang gang is flying north on Appa, and they arrive to the Northern Water Tribe.
Just exactly like the show. The big wall caved into a big glacier. Really cool.
Agna Oh, I love that name.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
We meet the chief and Princess Yue and
they're just met with
we meet
kindness,
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not always the case whenever they're traveling in this season.
Yeah.
The Northern Water Tribe is aware about the Fire Nation being close by.
Right.
They're relying on Aang.
Right.
And then we cut to Zhao speaking to Iroh about
Zuko's
death.
Yeah. And Zhao, at first, he can't read Iroh, but then Iroh... I mean, obviously, we know he's playing with Zhao because of the original show.
But he's like, it's Ozai.
It's Ozai.
Him.
Yeah.
I know exactly what this is. And that catches Zhao off guard.
Yeah. So Zhao's like, well, shit. Oh, my God, it's working. Ha, ha, ha. So he informs Iroh that he has once again been promoted and that he's now in charge of a whole fleet to attack the North.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been given the go-ahead to attack the North. We cut to Azula fighting again. This time an Earthbender inmate. Yeah,
and Ozai deems it another fail.
Yeah, she's just taking a test.
Yeah, Mei and Ty Lee try to tell her again, like, you know, your father's just playing games.
But it's riling her up.
Oh yeah, and she's determined to just show Ozai that, you know, she is the one.
She's the best. She's the only one. She's
is
alien
the heir.
superstar.
Unique.
Then we go back to the North Tribe, and there's a feast for the Avatar.
Yeah, Paku speaks to Katara and tells her, you know, to find Yagoda in the morning. So like, but he has like this like kind of look on his face, like you're not gonna get what you want. And we soon find out that, you know.
Yeah, and Sokka has been just eyeing Princess Yue.
Yeah, so she's in the back with the cooks, and she's making ice cream for this little girl with her bending, and it's a really cute scene. I was like, if I could do that shit, fuck.
Yeah, her character is pretty different from the original episodes. She is just a little bit more down to earth, just a little bit more outgoing. The other one was more reserved because she had a really the other one really played into the part of a princess. Like she always was in that princess mode, and then this princess, she's like, I'm only in that mode when I'm out talking to people. Yeah, but when it's behind closed doors, when I'm in the kitchen, I'm just a regular girl.
Yeah, and it's like that motif kind of that we learned in the last episode where like people wear masks. Like not what people present isn't necessarily who they are. So like she presents herself as like this. We find out that she's like a spiritual leader
for the tribe.
But she's just a girl.
Yeah, and then Sokka feels like she's met her before, and then as she's walking away, we see the same hairband.
Yeah, we see the same band that we saw on the Fox when he was in the spirit world, and it turns out to be her hairband. Yeah. So we're like, wait, what?
Right. I mean, I when she first spoke, I'm like, she is the Fox.
Oh, it sounded like her voice.
Yeah, that voice. Then we cut to the all the soldiers and the North are enforcing the wall, putting just ice spikes
and they're asking
just getting
Sokka
ready
for like fighting tips.
Yeah. I don't know if we know at this point, but that's basically the former fiance to Princess Yue.
They mention it. Yeah,
I forgot. Oh, Han. That's his name. I forgot. Yeah. But in this version of Avatar, Han wants his expertise because in the other one they were just dicks to each other. Here, right. Yeah.
Paku suggests we cut to a scene where Paku's suggesting that Aang lead kind of them into battle. And Aang admits that he's not mastered the other three elements.
I understand how everybody's relying on the Avatar to be the Avatar and to protect them and whatnot, but don't they realize that they're talking to a 12-year-old boy?
I know.
Because Paku's like, wouldn't it have been wise that you trained during your journey? And it's like, yes, but at the same time, how is he supposed to train when he doesn't have any teachers to train him?
Exactly.
And everywhere he's going, the Fire Nation has some kind of control over it. So there's no earthbending. You can't really waterbend.
Yeah.
So who's there to teach him?
Yeah. Paku's just a dumb, like, dumpy little asshole.
He's an old man. He's stuck in his ways.
Mm-hmm. We cut to a scene where Katara's entering the healing room, and she realizes that she's not being trained for fighting.
Yeah, she wants combat training.
Yeah.
And the instructor just kind of tells her, well, we only do healing here.
Yeah, and Katara's a natural healer, and the lady
Picks it up
Yagoda even
first
says
round.
it. Yeah, and then Katara's like, when can I start my fighting training? And she's like, oh, women don't fight in the North. It's not our way. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and Katara does not like that one bit.
No.
And then we cut to Sokka talking to the water soldiers, and he's giving them insight on what he has learned during, their journey to the north.
Yeah.
To the north. And then he starts probing some questions to the former lover of Yue and to Han, and just getting a backstory between him and Yue. And that they were once engaged and betrothed. And Yue called it off when she turned 16, I think.
She did.
I forgot what age.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Han admits that he would have married her if they had kept it. And that kind of makes things awkward for Sokka.
Right.
But it's like,
yeah, I mean, at this point, she's not engaged anymore, so you have
exactly
all the power to go after her now.
Right.
Then we cut to Yue talking to Aang.
They enter Avatar Kuruk's shrine.
Yeah, and it's just pretty basic compared to the other temples because I mean, Avatar Kuruk was centuries ago. Yeah. So I mean, it's been a while since there was a waterbender avatar.
Mm-hmm. And also, you later find out in the episode that shrine is just the entryway to, their sacred grove.
Right.
And that's just, majestic in and of itself.
Yeah, and then Yue tells him that when Kuruk was the avatar, there were stories that he was useless because he spent so much time in the spirit world.
So he never helped them with their issues in the real world.
Don't really count on him to help. But she also said that she believes there's more to the story than him just being in the spirit world.
Right. And then Aang enters the spirit world and he speaks to Avatar Kuruk. And he is...
Hold on, before we get there, I also want to say, since we kind of can already assume that Yue is the fox from the spirit world that talked to Sokka. Now, I've also written here an assumption, maybe for season 2, we might see her again as the fox that brings knowledge back into the library for the spirit of knowledge.
Yes.
The big owl.
I'm hoping.
So maybe she's going to be the same fox, and her mission now is to just keep retrieving knowledge, It's something that she likes. She's always wanted to learn more about the spirit world. So at the same time, it's a win-win. Win for the owl to keep bringing more knowledge, and she learns along the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my assumption. Let's continue. So now we see Aang entering the Avatar state, and he's talking to Kuruk.
Mm-hmm. Kuruk explains that if Aang's seen that Agnikela got destroyed, it's gonna happen, but that everyone's fate is still in his hands. So you can't kind of avoid what's going to happen, but you can save people.
Right. He said the visions that he saw from Kyoshi are going to happen, but the outcome of the battle is still uncertain. He can change the outcome.
Yeah. Kuruk also explained that he spent the majority of his life in the spirit world because there were malevolent spirits trying to enter the real world.
Yeah, and including Ko.
And that's what he was doing this whole time.
Yeah.
So to them, everyone that lived in the real world
thought he was just
useless, but he was just really fighting a battle that no one else could.
Right. Yeah, and what's also said, I remember from the original show, during Kuruk's time as the Avatar, the world was at its peaceful time ever, the most peaceful it's ever been.
Oh wow!
So the fact that he was battling something in the spirit world, all these spirits trying to get through to destroy basically the real world, while everybody in the real world is just living at peace, and they're complaining that he was useless and whatnot. I get it because they don't see what's going on, but at the same time, everyone's at peace, so just enjoy it.
Right.
And then we learned that Ko was the one. Did we talk? I don't know if we said it, but then Ko took revenge and took the face of his lover, Umi.
Yeah.
And then we see Sokka entering the shrine. He's talking to Yue, and Yue reveals that, she is the fox that talked to Sokka.
She tells him to recombobulate.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So he's like, oh, I knew it.
Yeah, and then she tells Sokka the story of how the moon spirit saved her life.
And now she's able to travel to the spirit world during her sleep.
Yeah, so the moon spirit gave her a part of her
spirit to save her.
Yue.
Yeah, so now she's part spirit, but mostly human, as she likes to put it. Then we go back to Kuruk and Aang, and just Aang realizes that Kuruk won't help. And then he comes back to the shrine room where Sokka and Yue are there. Mm-hmm. Then we cut to Katara confronting Pakku about not being able to train in combat. Mm-hmm. Pakku is just like the character in the original show. He's sexist and just traditionally outdated. Just being a little conservative. He believes, oh my God, he also said that the reason the Southern tribe was captured was because women were part of the...
Right, some sly shit like that. He tried to
part of the...
take a dig at her. It's like, fuck you, dude.
It's like, first of all, how dare you say that? So many people died. And then you want to blame it on the women? Oh, because they were in combat. Like, they don't know how to fight. Yes, they do, as we will learn later in this same episode. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, no, in the next episode. I just thought that was a hot take from him. Like, that wild and bold.
And then Katara goes to Aang to tell her what Pakku said.
And Aang is just feeling helpless and hopeless.
Yeah, well, it's because Kuruk.
Yeah.
Kuruk said the same thing that Roku and Kyoshi said, which
don't
is like,
rely on friends, and
you
friends
have
are a
to
liability.
do this alone. Yeah.
And he doesn't want his friends to be hurt, so he's like, I want Katara and Sokka to be tucked away in a closet far away from all the battle scenes. Just be safe, and Aang will take care of everything. And Katara's like, no. Yeah.
In a weak moment that Katara came to Aang, like, he just kind of like pushes her away and it's like, maybe you shouldn't fight.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So then Aang says he can't be the Avatar when he's around her.
Right.
And that's when we cut to the Fire Nation. And
the fleet of Fire Nation
finally
ships,
approaching Agnikela.
Yeah. Zhao and Iroh review the plans. Iroh is not confident in Zhao's plan, but Zhao has a box. And what's in that box? We don't know yet.
We don't know, but there's a water bending
there's a mysterious box.
Yeah.
And it says it has the power to help him. So we'll find out.
We cut to Azula, and she's...
Well, hold on, no. Before that, Iroh is talking to some soldier, and that soldier is Zuko. As we all know, he's alive. And Zuko has no plan.
Nope.
As always.
But he's alive.
But
and
he's
Iroh
alive.
knows he's alive.
Yes. And now we cut to Azula taking a test again, but this time she refuses to take it.
Yeah, she doesn't choose an opponent. And
she keeps refusing, and Ozai strikes at her.
Yeah, he says to fight or fail. She says no. And we finally see Azula lightning bend.
Yeah, really good.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite part of the whole show.
Yeah,
well,
no, it's really good.
Besides the very end of the show.
Yeah, and Azula pleads to him to let her out into the world. So let me show you what I can do.
And Ozai smiles. So I think that's like a go-ahead.
Because he's like, this is what I've been waiting for. Yeah.
And then we cut to Katara saying she's going to fight Pakku, and Sokka starts this whole this whole speech.
Yeah.
And then Katara's like, if you're going to convince me not to fight, don't do it. And he's like, oh no, I mean, no one's making sense here, but go kick his ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Katara challenges Pakku and the fight ensues.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it? I thought it was really good.
I thought it was really good.
It was a little weak at first, the little hand combats, but then the water bending kicked in.
I thought a lot of his
really
bending looked really like, almost like classic, like, it just looked like very like whoosh.
Yeah.
Whoosh,
yeah.
You know? But then hers was like, so many different styles.
Yeah. And then she just had to let her hair down.
Oh my god!
And then she got in the mood.
Yeah, but Pakku does ultimately win.
Well, yeah, of course.
But
they all expected.
And he's like, "Oh, you still can't fight." But then like all the younger waterbenders kind of just huddle
Pakku
around.
Still won't teach her.
No, but all the younger waterbenders kind of huddle around Katara, and they're just like, "Teach us." Like, how did you do this?
Yeah,
like,
both the boys and girls.
Oh yes,
they're all trying to like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we see Soot.
Yeah, Momo eats some
ash.
Yeah, Momo eats some soot that's fallen. Yeah. And we know that the Fire
Nation has arrived. And then Aang says it's time to fight. And then the episode ends. Woo! So let's get to it. So episode 8, Legends.
Directed by Jet Wilkinson and written by Albert Kim.
Mm-hmm. So it starts with one of the Fire Nation being attacked by the Aang and gang. Really good episode. It just feels very cartoon-like. They saved all their money for the finale, so all the graphics are going to be on point, and it pretty much was.
Oh my
really good scene. They're working together instead of Aang being alone like he was in the original show. It's just all of them.
They fuck up a ship pretty good, and they get it. They get it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, they fly up and they realize there's literally hundreds.
Yeah. And then we get the water title sequence, still really good.
Yes.
Love it.
Iroh pleads to Zuko not to leave alone, to Agnikela. He's like, you're gonna die. He's like, I thought I've lost you already like 2 times before. Now I'm gonna lose you for real.
So he sets off alone to capture the Avatar, and Iroh is afraid and he sheds a tear.
Yeah.
He's just going through a lot.
Yeah, because Zuko tells him, like, this is where my journey ends one way or another.
Yeah. And then we cut to the gang helping the tribe get ready for battle. They're somewhat confident about winning, and Katara leaves to help, like, to get more help.
Right, but they tell them that, like, when they get back, Aang and the gang, that they're about 2 hours away from, like,
the whole fleet.
Yeah. Which is fuck, man.
So they need all the help that they can get, and that's when Katara leaves to go find some help.
Yeah.
And then we cut to
Iroh questioning Zhao and, like, why he's not leading the whole, like, armada of ships.
Right.
And then Zhao
reveals his true plans.
Yeah, he shows him the airship that they have on deck.
Which Sokka designed back at the homage show.
Yes, I know.
It's the same one. It's a prototype, but it's the same one.
And then the Fire Nation begins
They start attacking. That's a lot of fireballs.
At Agnikela and its wall.
Yeah. The scene is so good. You can tell they spent so much time with the effects. It feels really big. The battle.
Yes.
Just the startup, everything.
The waterbenders are defending.
Yeah.
Katara tells Pakku to forget his pride and, like...
And then she shows that we have help, and it's the women of the tribe.
The women can fight too. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, double up your fucking army.
And then the leader of the women tribe, or like the instructor, she's like, yes, please, Pakku. It's like now she decides to do it. Katara was just a catalyst, and now, but whatever. Pakku agrees.
They've been living in a little hole in the ice for so long. They're stuck in their ways.
It's they were born into a war, so it's like they would have just like Pakku also said earlier. Water is all about change, so they should have changed a while ago. But whatever. Then we get the chief telling Sokka to protect Yue when he sees between...
He has to choose between Sokka and Han, and he chooses Sokka. And in that moment, it's like and he literally life and death.
Yeah, because he tells Yue, like, I want you to be alive just in case if something happens to me, you become chief, because people will follow you.
Yeah, and Sokka is, supposed to protect her.
Yeah, and then we get a little random moment between Katara and...
Pakku.
No. Just a random soldier, and he calls her Master Katara.
Well, yeah, because Pakku and Katara.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Pakku assigns Katara some recruits.
Yeah,
and they call her master, and she's like, "Wait, I'm not."
She's like, "Oh wait, oh my god, I am." Yeah. Then next we see Iroh and Zhao in the hot air balloon.
Yeah.
And Zhao apparently has been doing his work and studying on the spirit world. Right. Because now he's knows everything.
There's a full moon, but not only a full moon; it's an ice moon. Ice, baby. And the barriers between the natural and the spirit world are thin.
Yeah, and then he reveals the backstory of the box that he has, and it's a knife to kill a spirit, and not only spirit, he's out to kill the moon spirit.
Yeah. We get a flashback of Agnikela and its history that Zhao learned in Roku's temple.
Yeah.
So we learn of Tui and La, so the moon and ocean spirits. Yeah. And Zhao plans to slay one of the spirits, the moon spirit.
Yeah.
So Karuk appears in his spirit self.
Yeah.
And he warns Aang that his knife is near, and it's the knife that Zhao has.
And he also explains to Aang what it is.
It's made of materials from the spirit world, so it's able to kill spirits.
Right. And then we cut to Yue, Sokka, and Momo. They're trying to save people from, like, the rumbles and whatever. And then Momo goes to save someone and gets crushed.
Right, but before then, Kuruk warns Aang that, like, the power of the elemental spirits, his power pales in comparison to theirs.
The Avatar itself. Yeah. The Avatar power is nothing compared to the elemental spirits at all. Mm-hmm. So now we cut to Yue, Sokka, and Momo, and Momo gets crushed while he's saving someone.
Yeah, he literally pushes him out of the way, and some like falling debris just like crushes him.
And then Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo.
And then I combine Yue and Momo. But Yue says that she knows a place that she could take Momo to save
he's
him.
barely alive.
Yeah, and they take him to a secret area. It's so pretty, so tropical, and she places him inside the pond and revives him.
Yeah, so we go through Kuruk's shrine, and we enter into Agnikela's sacred grove, and it's warmed by like the waters deep within the earth, and it's just, yes, this luscious, beautiful place.
Then we cut to Zuko finding his way into the North City. He blasts his way into some, like, I guess their version of a sewage system.
I guess. It's just a bunch of ice.
Yeah. And then we cut back to the hot air balloon, and it lands where Sokka and Yue are.
Fuck.
And then, so they hide behind a bush, and then Zhao and his men hunt for the spirit's reincarnation because they can literally be anything.
Yeah, they have Iroh there to help them look for the spirits. So every ice moon, the moon and ocean spirit
that happens once a year.
Yeah, they come and they live as immortal beings. So they can show up as like insects on a blade of grass,
right?
Or they could be like two trees in the grove, you know, and they just kind of like experience life for that one night,
right?
And so they have to figure out, they have to figure out what the fuck is it?
Yeah, and then we cut to Zuko confronting Aang and Katara, and Katara tells Aang that she can deal with Zuko, and then Aang goes, "Take it easy," and then Zuko goes, I'm not listening to you. And then Aang's like, I'm not talking to you.
No, literally. Like,
I'm telling Katara to go
take
easy
it
on you.
Sorry, bud.
Like, and then the fight ensues, and it's pretty cool. He's like, oh, so you learned you found a master. And then she's like, bitch, I am the master.
Yeah, you're looking at her.
But yeah, I mean, Katara learns things pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really good at what she does. And then Aang arrives at the sacred place.
And he tells them of Zhao's plan, Sokka and Yue.
Yeah, and then Iroh confronts Zhao, telling him that he will unleash tenfold if he touches and if he kills this the fish, because he realizes
Zhao finds the fish,
and he realizes, oh, yin and yang, push and pull.
There are these koi fish that are in the pond,
the spirits
just kind of spinning in circle.
Fish. Yeah. So Zhao doesn't listen to Aang, who also gives him a sentimental speech, an emotional speech about like why he shouldn't be doing it and whatnot. Right. And then Zhao goes, "You're insignificant now, because once I kill this moon, you're only going to be a master of 3 elements, and that doesn't give the same ring to it as mastering 4 elements and blah blah blah." So
Zhao bags the moon spirit, and the moon turns red.
Yeah. And then as he's about to like kill it, Iroh interferes first. The fish drops. Aang tries to bring it to him, but then
Zhao is able to stab it.
Yeah. And then the world loses. Dies. Yeah, the moon disappears. We lose a little bit of color, just like the show.
Everything turns gray.
Yeah.
And then all the waterbenders lose their abilities because the moon spirit granted them their water bending.
Yeah, so then the Fire Nation, they ramp up their attacks. They're able to enter the city.
They get
people
through
start
the wall.
dying.
Yeah.
People start dying.
Like quick.
Yeah. We cut to Katara. She's losing her bending, and she starts feeling like dizzy. A fire blast like destroys the building that they're in, and they're trapped under rubble of the building, Zuko and Katara. Then we cut to more waterbenders are struggling, and Han is instructed by the chief to go to retreat, and then Han is like, "No, I'm gonna keep fighting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep fighting."
God damn it!
So he goes to fight more. We cut back to Aang, and Iroh fights Zhao, just like he said.
Yeah. Yue is feeling weak, and then Aang...
he's feeling useless at first, and then he starts remembering things,
the advice that all the avatars told him, and he figured out in this moment how he could, like, use that to his advantage.
He needs to give himself up to the elemental spirit.
Yeah, so he enters into the water, and he lets the ocean spirit just take over him.
And Yue warns him that if he does that, he will lose himself. Yeah. Like, he won't be Aang anymore.
Forever.
Yeah. And so Aang does it. And then we get to see the water monster.
Oh my god. It's
really good.
Giant kaiju.
This big Godzilla
looking koi made out of water.
Yeah. No, really? I loved it. I loved it.
It was so good.
We cut to Zuko being alive, and he sees the water monster, and he goes to Iroh, because Iroh finds him, and he goes, "What is that?" And he's like, "We need to go. Forget about that.
Iroh's
we need to go."
That is wrath.
Yeah. So we need to get out.
Yeah. Then we cut to Katara, and she's just coming out of the
rubble. She's alive too. She sees Aang in the monster,
in the kaiju, and we just cut to the Ocean Spirit just fucking up some Fire Nation troops.
Yeah, they try to attack the monster, but it doesn't work. It's really so
and then
good.
Zuko sees Zhao.
And he wants to fight him. And Iroh's
he
like, no,
calls
no.
him out
Yeah.
like on a bridge. And then Zhao is just like taken aback because he's like, I thought you were dead.
Yeah.
And then they start fighting. And
Zuko has the upper hand.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
there's
Right
no
off the bat.
competition at all.
Nope.
And
he shows him compassion.
Right. And then
Like, once he's beaten.
because then Zhao was like, well, let me tell you everything.
Right.
Who's been helping me? Who do you think has been helping me?
Right.
And he reveals it's been Azula.
Right.
And
it just gets Zuko
and
so
it
upset.
really gets under his skin. But he doesn't really, he
doesn't
spares
kill him,
him.
yeah.
He spares him and then he just starts walking away and Zhao tries to kill him. But then Iroh steps in
Out of
and
nowhere.
fucking blasts his ass and he like...
Dead in a millisecond.
In a millisecond.
And then his body just like sinks into the water.
Yeah.
We cut to the Fire Nation Armada, and they're attempting to attack the kaiju with a bunch of fireballs.
Yeah,
And
then at first it's quiet, and then the monster attacks.
Like, the fireballs just go into the monster, and the monster's made of water. So then steam is just everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can't see anything. And then you just see the monster.
It definitely felt like a Cloverfield moment.
It was really good. I loved it. And then, the kaiju just starts fucking up these ships.
Yeah,
Like,
and he just does this big tsunami and just wipes them all away.
wins, yeah.
And then Katara calls out for Aang, but it's too late.
Yeah.
He's walking away, and then, we cut
to Yue, and she's explaining the ocean spirit's just going to roam the earth
he's a vengeful
for eternity.
spirit now because he's looking for his lover who died.
Yeah.
Because he's always in search of it now. So can you imagine a big monster just roaming
forever
in the ocean?
Forever.
You're just,
it's just
cruising,
chaos.
and then you just see this monster.
Yeah.
So sad. But then Yue realizes...
No, Sokka.
What?
Sokka says there must be something we can do to bring the moon spirit back to life.
And then
Yue
clicks
just
in.
looks
She's like,
at
oh.
him, and she thanks him.
And then that's when Yue is like, yeah, oh my God, you're right. Moon spirit, duh.
Yeah.
And she gives her life to the moon spirit. And then Sokka's like, no, don't do it. But she does it.
Yeah.
And she disappears. And then the ocean spirit comes back, and so does the moon. And the monster turns around, the water monster turns around, sees that the moon is back, and he's like, oh,
yeah,
she's back, let me go
and
back.
And then he just like turns back into water, like completely like falls apart.
Falls into the ocean, and then Aang sprouts out, and he smiles, and then we know that he's back to, like he's still in the Avatar state, but he's smiling, and we know that he's like controlling it now.
Yeah.
Like he's back to being himself.
And that's the end of the battle, and we cut to morning, and we're just kind of feeling the loss of like...
I mean, they've been battling all night, so it's only a few hours
and
after.
It's mass destruction. Like the whole
Everybody's
place
mourning
is
their
destroyed.
losses now. They're collecting the dead.
Aang flies away on his glider.
Yeah, because he can't...
And Sokka apologizes to Yue's father, but...
I mean, we see that also Han died. We see the
recruits, the waterbender
the soldier
recruits,
that called Master Katara also died.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Aang just flies away because he can't handle it. We cut to Sokka and the chief talking about Yue and how he's like, well, you can't really stop her once she's like determined to do something. And he kind of always expected for this moment to happen.
Yeah.
Because he already had a second chance to be with his daughter when she was born.
Right.
You know?
We cut to Paku, and he's just looking on the bright side, I guess.
Yeah.
And he accepts Katara and women into fighting, finally.
Yeah. He's like, you know what, just like the water, I will change too. Well, it's about damn time.
Paku offers Katara a job as a trainer at the Northern Water Temple, but she respectfully declines.
Because she wants to teach Aang, and they need to continue with their journey.
Absolutely.
So then he hands her the, what we know, obviously, if you're an OG follower, but it's the water pendant that can, like, bring somebody essentially back to life.
Yeah, so it's waters from the sacred grove, and it has these like
great
extraordinary. It's what saved Momo. It's what saved the moon spirit with Yue
in this episode. So we'll see if she uses it for another reason.
And he tells her it's a reminder of what they've been through and an invitation to return anytime.
Exactly. And then we got to Iroh and Zuko. They're paddling away, and Zuko says. He says he's tired, and Iroh says, well...
a man needs his rest.
A man needs his rest.
And that's what he was trying to tell him the very first episode.
But where are they rowing to? I don't fucking know.
They don't care.
No, but it's going to be a while until they find more civilization. We cut to Aang crying, and he's looking at the destroyed city.
He just feels responsible.
Yeah, and Sokka and Katara show up to comfort him, and they talk about their future adventures.
We cut to Fire Lord Ozai.
And he's getting informed that the North was not taken and that the Avatar is still alive. And he's like, oh, Oh, well, that
Yeah, he's
wasn't...
not surprised.
Yeah, he's like, that...
He said
we had other plans.
He actually says, yeah, it's in Fire Nation tradition. It's a distraction for
It's
their
a red herring.
actual plan. And we cut to
Yeah.
Azula, and she has conquered Omashu.
Yeah, she reveals her
Bumi's-
mask, and she's captured Bumi, she's captured Omashu.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Azula.
Ozai kind of alludes to his plans to attack Ba Sing Se next.
Yeah.
And
then the show ends, but then we
Well-
get one more scene.
No.
What?
Right before then, Ozai also learns that Zuko was in Agnikela, and he basically
right.
says, like,
Right.
we sacrifice the weak.
Right. Well, because
So
he
if-
doesn't know if Zuko's
Right,
alive or
yeah.
not. They're not sure after the whole battle. So then, like, the show ends, but then we get immediately another scene.
And we're brought into this room.
The sage brings in Ozai, and I mean, immediately you can tell that that's the calendar that we see in book 2 of Avatar, the original
This
show.
big metallic, like,
It's a calendar.
device that kind of spins.
Tells you the calendar, tells you astronomical events. And the sage is like, it's time. And then Ozai's like, ooh,
Sozin's
really?
comet
Yeah,
is
so then they
returning.
see, yeah. We don't know when, but it's saying, it's coming soon.
Yeah, no, literally.
And then, yeah, he's just like, ooh.
Ugh.
He's so happy.
Yeah.
He's so happy. And that's
the
it.
end.
And that's the end.
of season
Wow.
1 of Netflix's
Wow.
Avatar: The Last
I'm
Airbender.
impressed. I mean, they did really, really good.
They really did.
I mean, yeah, I don't have any.
I think
At the beginning, I had my reasons that I
and
didn't like.
reservations.
Yeah, but honestly, it got better. It got
Yeah.
better as
And I think
Yeah.
they expected that, and
Yeah.
that's why they did it the way they
and
did.
right. And what we also talked about, the first 2 episodes and the last 2 episodes were identical to
Practically, yeah.
to the original show.
Oh, yeah.
The 4 episodes in the middle were more, all right, well, we have all these stories. How do we put them all together? I
Yeah.
felt like the first half of the middle part
Right.
was a little wonky.
Oh, for sure.
But then the other half of the middle part was really good.
Yeah.
So like episode 5 and 6
It's because
was,
you're not
it got
expecting
better.
it. Like, it just
Yeah.
comes at you and it feels disjointed.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
like, by the time you come to episode
Yeah.
5 and 6, you're, like, expecting it. And, like, they do
Right.
it in a way that's still very enjoyable.
Yeah, because I think what was the difference between between 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 is that 3 and 4 the gang basically split up, so we
Yeah.
were really getting different stories.
Yeah, that's
while Katara and Sokka were knocked out for 5 and 6, so they weren't technically going off their own adventures.
that's very
we were just
true.
following Aang,
Yeah.
going, all right, well, I have to go to Roku's temple, I have to go here, I have to go there, and then we got June who pops up and says, well, I got you, bitch.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, still, it was. We got a lot of storyline mashed in together with 5 and 6
For
too,
sure.
but it felt better.
It
felt
did.
better paced.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Me too. It was
Really
a long
excited
time coming.
and we know that they're gonna get renewed, and
Yeah.
we're gonna get it. Just the matter of when.
Wow.
All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then when we
Yeah.
come back, we're gonna get into our news segment.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Bye.
Bye.
We'll be back.
Bye-bye. Hello, 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 how are you?
Please, let's not.
Ah!
All right, so we are back, and now we're going to talk about news that happened in the past week.
Yes.
Some news that we think it's notable to talk about, and we want to give our opinions about it.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to start with some general news, some political news. It's the Michigan primaries that happened over the past week. And we're mostly going to talk about the Democratic Party. I don't care about the Republican Party.
Welcome.
So, yeah. So, Biden did win his primary election. However, progressive young voters and Arab American voters voted uncommitted as a protest against Biden's stance with the war that's happening between Israel and Hamas. They want Biden to basically change the course of the war. They want him to start supporting ceasefire. And they're just disappointed on how Biden has been handling the war so far.
Yeah.
So a quick backstory. This war has been a result of Hamas attacking Israeli civilians on October 7th of 2023. And Israel's response was to declare war against the group. However, many Palestinian citizens who live under the rule of Hamas,
Innocent people.
Yeah, innocent people in the Gaza Strip, they have been dying, including many children. And a pressure for ceasefire has been growing ever since the war started.
What's the estimate now? It's like 28,000.
They're at 30,000. Yeah,
Wow.
They're estimated at that. But I mean, again, people are taking that with a grain of salt because it's coming from a Hamas-ruled government that's telling them these numbers. So we can't. I don't know. It's big, and if it is that big, something needs to happen. But recently, Israel did accept yesterday on Saturday. Israel did accept a 6-week ceasefire, so we're just waiting for Hamas to respond, but things may be complicated because this past Thursday, more than 100 Palestinians were killed by Israeli forces while they were trying to access food, because ever since the war started, there's been no food, no medical supplies, no aid going into Gaza City, so they've been, countries around the world have been trying to come up with solutions to find ways to bring aid into the city without directly helping Hamas, but yeah, it's not working. And Biden did call for an immediate ceasefire this past Friday. So my opinion, I agree with the voter strategy in voting uncommitted during the primaries.
Yeah.
However, I can't tell them what to do. I just hope they vote. They vote, and I hope they vote
in a general election.
I just hope they vote for someone. I'm not going to tell them who they need to vote for, but I just don't. Because if you're going in for uncommitted, that is just you're giving the vote to the party that will likely do more damage than what Biden is doing currently. Mm-hmm. Because if it was up to the other party, they would keep that war going. They would be fueling Israel. Sure. They'll be bringing Benjamin Netanyahu. Like, they'll just be boasting his ego up. But
yeah, that
is just my opinion. If we're choosing between two evils, I'd rather have the evil that is doing less evil work, and that's Biden. So what do you got?
Well, I'm going to talk about how the Senate strikes down a bill to protect IVF nationwide. So, a couple takeaways. Republicans on Wednesday blocked the bill. The bill was to stop efforts on a state level to restrict IVF via precedent made by an Alabama court that embryos are considered children.
Scientifically, that's not true.
No,
let's just say that.
Those aren't children.
They're not children. They can't live on their own. They need to be attached to a living organism to thrive.
So IVF treatments in Alabama are currently paused due to this ruling, and any embryos that are destroyed accidentally or otherwise can be considered wrongful death. So that's why,
crazy.
Nobody's wanting to,
right, they don't want
to or give
because there
IVF
are
services.
As much as we don't want there to be, but there are mistakes. People accidentally drop them, or they just misplace them and whatnot. Which is, yes, they should get in trouble for those things. They should,
but it's not.
But
they shouldn't. Death.
It shouldn't. They shouldn't be charged with murder, because they can be charged with other serious crimes, not murder.
Wrongful death.
Wrongful death, same thing. Wrongful death is basically murder.
The bill was to be passed under unanimous consent. Any one senator could oppose it and block its passage. So the bill's goal is to protect IVF services nationwide.
Yeah. And then I think it was Senator Duckworth that presented the bill.
Yeah, she presented it for the first time as the Access to Family Building Act in 2022. And that's the first time they voted for it as well. This time around, Mississippi Republican Senator Sidney Hyde-Smith blocked the bill on Wednesday. So like
Republicans be Republican.
That's right.
They talk about life and whatnot, and yet
they don't
IVF is life. Like, you're giving a chance. You're giving a family a chance to life.
They're being counterintuitive with what they're supposedly like pro, and then also you're just kind of like you're neglecting the people that are alive, the children that are alive that are in foster systems that just need these like.
And this is just another example of them being hypocrites.
Yeah.
So
polls show that the majority of Democrats and Republicans do support access to IVF. So this is just like a political Washington it's just
another
so aggravating.
It's another talking point that Republicans are using.
But that nobody actually is for, and it's just very frustrating.
I mean, you even have the senator of Alabama not knowing what even IVF was or is, and he's like, oh, no, what the Alabama Supreme Court did was good. And then they're like, well, it restricts people from having families. And then, he's like, oh,
He had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah. No,
I know.
no idea.
It was ridiculous. So Democrats are tying this into the 2022 Supreme Court ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade, basically as like the next kind of way that Republicans are trying to just control our bodies and like our access to just these services.
Mm-hmm.
So we no longer have the protected access to abortion. And now they're just trying to like fuck up with IVF. So, what is our next topic, Manny?
So the next topic that we're going to talk about is good news and bad news. Good news because Mitch McConnell is stepping down as Senate leader.
Thank you, Lord.
After 17 years, he's the longest senator to ever be leader of the Senate. And it's finally happening. He's going to step down when his term ends this November. He is currently, obviously, the Senate leader for the Republican and has quite a history of blocking important democratic process, such as blocking Obama's Supreme Court justice during Obama's last year of presidency.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think it's great that his era is coming to an end. However, I am worried as to who's going to pick up that mantle, who's going to replace him, because at least Mitch McConnell was somewhat predictable in the things that he's did. Some of these senators are more MAGA oriented, and they just become the party of, honestly, just chaos.
Yeah. So,
for example, a name floating around is Senator John Barrasso. I don't even care if I said his last name wrong. So he's a Republican senator from Wyoming. He's just very conservative. He has voted to prohibit federal funds to go to abortions in the state of Wyoming. Well, federal funds for the country. He's also a climate change denier. He's also opposed a bill that would reform the federal prison system. The list goes on and on. So we may be losing someone that's evil, but will we get someone worse? We'll see.
We will.
We'll see. But that's it for the political news. Let's touch into the entertainment world.
Yes. Starting off, Queer Eye announces their new cast member, Jeremiah Brent, who is going to be replacing Bobby Burke.
Mm-hmm.
So the upcoming 9th season of the series is going to be taking place in Las Vegas. Jeremiah Brent is an esteemed interior designer. This was announced on Tuesday. The returning cast, we're going to have Karamo Brown coming back. He prioritizes culture. Tan France does fashion, Anthony Porowoski does food, and Jonathan Van Ness is beauty. Mm-hmm. So our friend Jeremiah is going to be basically interior design.
Yeah, he's taking Bobby's spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Poor Bobby.
Do we know why Bobby's leaving?
We do. So somewhat. We'll get there. So, this is the big break that this stylist has had. He was the celebrity stylist for Rachel Zoe on the Rachel Zoe show.
Wow.
Or Rachel Zoe project. Yeah. He's also hosted Oprah Winfrey's Network's Emmy-winning design series, Homemade Simple.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a design expert on Netflix's sadly short, Say I Do.
Okay.
I guess there was only one season.
All right.
Right. But he's also married to fellow esteemed interior designer Nate Burkus. They've been together for the last 10 years.
Okay.
I know.
I think we've seen some of their episodes on HGTV. Well, we know he has at least a nice resume to take over Bobby's spot. So let's see how he does it.
Yeah, together with his husband, they fronted some TLC renovation series. One of them was Nate and Jeremiah by Design. They've also done HGTV's Nate and Jeremiah Save My House.
Yeah.
What else? The Home Project. And they've also shared some of their skills on the Today Show, the Kelly Clarkson Show, the Drew Barrymore Show, and Good Morning America.
Nice.
I know.
Love that.
Yeah. So going back to Bobby Burke, he announced his exit last fall on the New Orleans set of season 8. He's been on since the reboot's premiere in 2018. So he's,
he's the OG.
He's the OG for this.
In this new era of Queer Eye.
Because Queer Eye for the straight guy was a 2000 series on Bravo. So there's something you want to watch if you want,
Oh, yeah.
But he revealed that his exit boiled down to some contractual agreements. So basically, I think they were signed up for a 7-year contract, and that was supposed to, be fulfilled in September of 2022. So he just assumed 7 seasons, and then that's it. But due to Netflix's shortage of content because of the Hollywood writers' strike, they renewed their contracts for a couple more seasons. So everybody on the cast was kind of hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody agreed to sign the contract except for Burke. And that's really it. There were some rumors that there was some drama with Tan France. And
I heard.
Yeah, Bobby did confirm there was a situation, but it was more of like a sibling thing because they are very close. It's not necessarily like anything out
they
of
hate
malice.
each other's guts.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the reason why he left.
I mean, it's fun to speculate, but...
No, of course, yeah.
It's also not fun to spread fake news.
That part. So Queer Eye has 11 Emmy wins and holds the record for the most wins of Outstanding Structured Program, with 6 consecutive victories. Season 9 is going to be in Las Vegas, like I said, and they start production later this spring. All 8 seasons are currently on Netflix.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So let's go on to our next entertainment topic, Manny.
Okay, so this one's a little fun one. So it's Rebecca Ferguson calling out some actor as an idiot actor who apparently screamed at her on set of a movie.
Yes.
So, in a recent interview on a podcast called Rain with Josh Smith, Rebecca Ferguson recalled a time when an idiot actor screamed at her on set of a movie in front of the cast and crew.
Could you imagine?
And ever since this interview aired, people are trying to figure out who that actor was. And by people, I mean us.
Yes.
We are the people.
Please. We will find out.
But this is what we know so far. That it happened on a movie set within the last 12 to 10 years. This actor that screamed at her was the number one top billed for the movie, as the producers liked to remind Rebecca at the moment. And Rebecca has cleared the name of Tom Cruise and Hugh Jackman, who were her co-stars in previous films, such as the Mission Impossible movies and The Greatest Showman, respectively. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson also spoke out saying technically that it wasn't him and that he wants to find out who did it too, and he will like to have a word with that person.
Oh, yeah.
Another actor that came out was Emily Blunt, who has also worked with Rebecca, and Emily said it was not her. In the podcast interview, Rebecca also revealed that she requested to basically act with a tennis ball instead of with that actor.
I would too, bitch.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with it, especially that you screamed at me
and shout at me like that,
and made her cry and walk away. So, but then the very next day, she went up to that same actor and said, "First of all, you fuck off, and I'm going to be acting to a tennis ball instead of your ass."
Fuck yeah.
However, the producer said no to that idea, but then she said, "Well, if this person is going to be on set, I'm going to act to the back of their head."
Yeah,
so they accepted that. So for the rest of the movie, for the rest of the filming,
the lead actor / actress had to act with their back turned.
Actor is non-binary.
Sure. Yeah.
But so we don't know. We don't know who it is, but I do have a list.
Give it to us.
I do have a list.
Give it to me.
So
let them know.
There is Gustav Skarsgård. However,
who are these people?
These are actors that she has worked with in movie sets in the last 10 to 12 years.
Okay. Gotcha.
So let me give you a little breakdown. So we have, first on my list, we have Gustav Skarsgård. I don't think it's him because she worked with him on 2 films.
Gotcha.
And she said that after that first film that she's worked with this actor, she said, "I'm never working with this person again." And they did do a film pretty recent. Could it be Hugh Grant? They did work together in Florence Foster Jenkins, which also starred Meryl Streep. No word yet as to if it could be him or not. Or could it be Jake Gyllenhaal or Ryan Reynolds? They were all in the same film together as Life. However, she does have video footage of them being close and whatnot during red carpet premieres and whatnot.
Please, God.
I know her. She wouldn't be doing that if she hated either of the men.
And I know Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds. And
well, I just
my babies could not. Please.
Or could it be Michael Fassbender during the filming of The Snowman? I don't know. Or could it be Chris Hemsworth during the filming of Men in Black International? I don't know.
Who knows?
He's a little diva. Who knows? Or could it be Ewan McGregor for when they did their movie together, Dr. Sleep? Maybe. However, also there's been footage of them being close during red carpets and whatnot. So we don't know. We don't know. But whenever we do find out, y'all will be the first to know.
Yes.
So that's all we got for my little investigation of this idiot actor. So what's your last article?
My last article is Nick Offerman calling out homophobic hate at
speak the truth
at the 2024 Independent Spirit Awards.
Yes.
So he won for Best Supporting Actor
For The Last of Us.
Yeah, for his new scripted series, The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So this is his quote. This is his quote of his acceptance speech.
Cool.
So he says, "Wow, thank you so much. I'm astonished to be in this category, which is bananas. Thanks to HBO for having the guts to participate in the storytelling tradition that is truly independent. Stories with guts that when homophobic hate comes my way and says, 'Why did you have to make it a gay story?' We say, 'Because you ask questions like that. It's not a gay story. It's a love story, you asshole.'"
Amen.
A-fucking-men.
Amen.
Thank you, Nick Offerman.
Yes.
Always been consistent.
Yeah,
He is ally
so
material.
great. I mean, ever since we
Example,
watched him
role
on,
model,
in
ally.
Parks Rec, he's so fun. He's him and his wife, so fun.
He thanked his writers, the director, and especially his wife, Megan Mullally. Mullally?
Yeah.
Let me try that again. He thanked the writers, the director, and especially his wife, Megan Mullally, for convincing him to accept the role
Love that.
as Ben.
Love that.
Ben or Bill? I think it's Bill. But it might be Ben.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So that's all the news we're going to cover. Now we're going to talk about things that we watched and listened to this past week.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about shows and movies. Honestly, just shows. We didn't really watch that many movies this past week.
No. We started Shogun.
Yeah, we started Shogun, an FX original series. We're watching it on Hulu. Pretty good. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's really thought out. I am not totally too aware of Japan culture, but I don't know.
It's like 17th century Japan.
It's in the 1600s.
It's the 17th century.
Oh, okay.
And it's Imperial Japan, and like these Englishmen have kind of like landed on like the islands and everything, and it's just kind of showing like the political dynamics between like war leaders and stuff,
Right, and outsiders.
Yeah, so we've only watched the first episode, but it is something that like
it's intriguing us,
and
I like it a lot.
It's filmed really well. The scripts are really good. It's something we're kind of excited to see as it progresses.
Yeah. Another thing that we watched this week is RuPaul.
Absolutely.
Love it. It was another design challenge, and some of the queens were shook because this is the third design challenge of the season.
What I was shook about was the fact that Saphira helped, what's her name? Maya
again,
for a second time
again.
And basically made her whole fucking dress.
Third time. Yeah. But she got called out. She got called out during the deliberations.
And was in the bottom, as she should be. But damn, the bitch turns it out.
Q won. I mean, she designed a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gown.
Yeah.
It looked really amazing. Very. So the challenge was goth and
neo-goth.
Yeah, it was really good. She did really good. So did Nymphia Wins. Plain Jane did not impress me this episode.
No, and Plasma just
she plummeted.
Poor Plasma.
She plummeted. She drowned,
and she went home.
She went home.
She sashayed away.
Yeah. And then obviously we also watched Abbot Elementary, another really good episode. So fucking
good.
funny. It mostly
focused on Barbara
and Jacob.
Yes, Barbara was like showing how she's actually progressive for her like kind of population of people.
For her
like older Christian
older women,
women of color.
And Jacob he just wants to break up with his boyfriend, but he's doing it all in the wrong ways.
He's being so passive aggressive and so like gaslighty, and it's just really kind of tough to see, because it's like you like Jacob as a character, but then you realize he's capable of something like this. It's kind of like ill. Yeah.
And then another show that we're watching is a reality competition show called The Traitors on Peacock.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I'm having a blast. This season is it's like perfect television right now.
Yeah.
I'm having a fun time.
Alan Cummings is the host, and it's super dramatic.
He is the best game show host any game show has ever.
No, literally.
Had,
ever. I also add, it was the season finale of The Floor. 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And there was one part.
Wild.
Oh my god, there was one part. The category was hobbies, and the person that was her category.
Yeah.
And she was challenged, and they did that category, and she was getting everything. And then it showed two people talking to a mic, and she could not get it. She was like, voice memo. It was podcasting, and she didn't get it, and she went home. So she didn't get the $250,000. It went to some random white girl. That played like maybe 3 times.
The first episode, and that's it.
I think so.
She was only in it for she played the first episode, went back to the floor, and she never got called back up until the last episode, and she won. So yeah, those are the shows that we're watching. Some music that we've listened to this past week was
Give it to
Cardi
them.
B, Like What?
Oof.
We got Casey Musgraves, Too Good to Be True. We got Miley Cyrus and Pharrell Williams with Doctor, Work It Out. And then, honestly, my favorite out of this whole bunch, Charlie XCX, Von Dutch.
Von Dutch is a bop.
That one was my favorite out of all the ones that we've got this week.
yeah.
It just goes back to her rave kind of music.
Very ravey,
and,
very just like techno pop.
She's going back to her roots, and I'm loving it.
It's giving like Euro
Yeah.
pop a bit.
No, I love it. But yeah, that's what we're listening to. We're going to take another little quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about our What About topics.
What about?
So stay tuned.
Yes.
And welcome back to our last segment of the podcast.
What
About? Where we both picked a topic that we found interesting, and it could be silly, it could be serious, it could be whatever we want.
Yeah.
And it's something that we haven't discussed with each other.
Right.
So this is new for us as it is for you.
Yes.
So enjoy. Mine is pretty short and simple.
Same.
And I don't really know how to pronounce this director's name, but
That's
it's
okay.
M. Night Shyamalan.
You did it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, his daughter is making a movie
Oh.
called The Watchers. And
Oh.
we saw the trailer for it.
What are they watching?
I don't know. It's very...
Who are they?
Wait. So it stars Dakota Fanning.
Okay.
And the trailer looks creepy. It's like a supernatural thriller, so they're like investigating some supernatural things going on in this like Irish village, I'm assuming. I don't know.
Okay.
But I mean, it looks pretty good. We saw the commercial for it the other day, and we thought it was M. Night's movie, but we didn't. We didn't catch it because it didn't say M. Night. It said her name. But we just saw the last name and we're like, oh, well, it's him, whatever, blah, blah. But no, it's her first debut movie.
Well,
and I'm pretty excited.
I'll watch it.
I'll watch it. I'm a fan of her father's work. Some of his movies were really good.
Yes.
I like The Village, even though it does have like a little wonky ending to
Right.
it. It kept me on my toes the
Yeah.
whole movie. So that's my what about. What's your what about?
My what about is there was 2 humpback whales
Oh no, the whales.
that were recorded having sex for the first time. It's the first time ever that humpback whales have been recorded having intercourse, mating, whatever word you want to use. And it just so happened to be 2 male humpback whales.
Wow.
So, gay sex, homosexuals.
It happens in the ocean too,
It's
people.
normal. It's natural.
Well, that's our what about.
Yeah. And that's our show.
And that's our show. I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as we enjoyed making it for you guys.
Yes. Our first major topic has come to an end.
Yeah. So that's the end of the Avatar.
Yeah.
Until season 2, which I'm sure we're going to get.
Oh, for
But
sure.
until then, we'll be talking about other things. So
Yeah. We got the Beyonce album coming out later this month.
we got a good amount of things to
We've
cover.
got so many things.
Yeah.
We're
So stay
excited.
tuned. We're excited to talk to you about them.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Remember, everything
Is wonderful.